What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James here. You know what I'm saying? We're about to do our damn thing. I got two of the draft guys here today. See, I ain't no draft dude. Like, I know a little bit of stuff. I come in on end, but these are the guys that do the damn thing. So when I peek on the little bit and I'm like, I don't know a little bit, I might listen to y'all a little bit. Y'all ain't my final destination, but I'll be listening to y'all. So I got my guy Dalton Miller here. He was on there with Burgers and Blitzes, and y'all already know Connor, the guy that faked us out with the Wi-Fi shit. You remember him, right? You remember Connor, right? That's the guy that played us with the Wi-Fi. That's him at the bottom.
It's working now. It's working now.
Ghost you? Who ghost you?
Huh?
Yeah.
Did Connor ghost you?
No.
He ghosted the heck out of me, dog. I was like, we was waiting. Look, dog. I was about to go off. It was about 11:30. I was like, yeah, I'm about to go to sleep. Connor was like, I'm good now. I'm good. I said, for real, dog, man, take y'all in this song. We ain't doing that tonight.
Oh, shit.
Hey, y'all, introduce yourselves right quick, and then let's jump right into it.
Connor, you go first.
I'm the guy that ghosted the show last week. No. I'm Connor Livesay. Follow me on Twitter at Connor NFL Draft. Talking draft, Cowboys, NFL, college football, all of that. So, yeah, pay Dak Prescott.
Exactly. We're still waiting. What's up, Dalton? Tell them who you are, man.
What's good? All right, so I'm Dalton Miller, obviously. Like James said, you can find me at Dalton B. Miller on Twitter. Go to my Twitter, find my YouTube, and also subscribe to that. You know, obviously, I'm trying to get to that 1,000. I'm trying to be able to figure out.
Yeah, you're trying to get that money. Just say it.
I'm trying to get that money, baby.
I see you on Twitter going ham. Like, hey, come on, man, like this video so I can get that money up, baby. I like that style.
Well, I'm trying not to have to get another job, bro.
I feel you, dog.
I just need a little bit more.
I feel you, dog. I'm not mad at the monetization view. I'm not mad at that at all. Go get that money. Like I said, I checked you out, so you know what I'm saying? I gave you some thumbs up.
You're doing your job, James.
Exactly.
We need other people to do it.
We need other people to get it up. But hey, man, you know while we on here, we talking draft. Everybody's been talking about it. Obviously, it's a hot topic with the Cowboys because we're right now currently 10th in the draft. We don't know if they're going to stay that way. But always been a hot topic is these corners and the safeties. We got Livesay possibly leaving, Jordan Lewis possibly leaving, Xavier Woods possibly leaving. So the cover could be bare if those guys don't get re-signed. So we're going to jump with cornerbacks first. And I know you guys have heavily been talking about them, but what's your thoughts on the cornerback position? You know, just in college, what do you guys have to feel about? Because a lot of people talking about, you know, there's a lot of good corners. Obviously, we heard of Farley, Surtain. What do you guys both feel about this cornerback class in 2020?
I feel like listening to, I know you mentioned Dalton's video the other day. I feel like my rankings are probably going to rank out similar to his. I have it Farley, Horn, Surtain. And again, all those guys are going to be probably closely pretty closely graded. One's, I think Farley is going to be my top guy for sure. And then Horn and Surtain are probably going to be in a similar range for me. All three of them are good players. Farley's just a great athlete. He's a really good ball hawk. He can cover. He's fluid. He's just the only issue is he has an injury history and he didn't play in 2020. That's kind of the flags with him. So I feel like you're going to trust his coverage ability. You're going to trust his ability to take the football away. You're going to trust his fluidity and athleticism. It's just he didn't play for a year and he has a streak of injury history. So it's a bad
streak.
Yeah, I mean, he missed some games for sure.
And he's still relatively new at the position, too, as well. And he's not like a guy that's played this cornerback his whole daggone life. He started out at receiver over there as well. So he's kind of like a Trevin Diggs in the fact that he's a young pup at that position. So he's still learning. So he has upside.
Was it receiver? I thought was it quarterback?
So he was a quarterback in high school.
And then he did receiver his first year at college, didn't he?
No. So he played corner his first year, but he came into it as a wide receiver cornerback recruit, and then they moved him full time over to corner.
An athlete.
He was an athlete, and I mean that's the best thing about him is he makes up for, even if because he is still a little bit raw as a cornerback. What's so good about him is he has the recovery speed to, even if he gets a little bit out of phase, he can get right back into it. And I think that time playing quarterback in high school was really, really good. Because it allows him to, even though he's newer at the position, he has really good instincts because he knows what quarterbacks are looking for when he's playing in off coverage. And that's what I really like about him. But I mean, even other than that, you have guys, the two Georgia corners, Eric Stokes and Tyson Campbell are two guys that are really, really impressive as well. They'll be, back half of the first, early in the second round type guys. And then somebody who Connor and I just got done interviewing, Ifeatu Melifonwu, that is the brother of Obi Melifonwu. He's 6'3", 215 pounds.
I don't trust it.
He is.
I don't trust it, Dalton.
Listen, it's just like not scouting the helmet, man. He's a different player than his brother.
Okay.
This dude is legitimately physical, which is the one thing that we couldn't say about Obi. The other thing with Obi is he was just simply overdrafted. We talked about this with his brother today. Obi was getting 5th and 6th round grades from the draft committee before he went to the combine and before he went to the Senior Bowl. That's where he shot up at, was the off-season stuff. His brother, Ifeatu's got round 2 tape. This dude is incredible. 6'3" dude shouldn't be able to move the way he does. And during Clemson, they kept throwing screens his direction, and he was just tossing receivers to the side and going up and making tackles. So he's a guy who I would normally be off on him because I don't like big corners. This dude moves different, and that's why I want guys to give him a chance, give his tape a chance.
All right, well, here's my thing. All right, so we're talking about, you guys like Farley. I watched Farley probably the last 3 or 4 days. The first thing that jumps out just to me, just listening to you guys, first thing that jumps out to me is them damn hips, just how fluid he is. Wow, when the receivers come off that line of scrimmage, he's able to open them hips up and go quick as hell with them. It's like no hitch in the motion. I mean, he is just like a natural athlete, just like you said. You can see it. It oozes out on the tape. A little, and one thing I love about him is, he has those natural, just like you said, he played quarterback. That's why I like when we drafted Trevin Diggs, because he played receiver pretty much most of his time. So I feel like it's an easier transition if you go to corner because you understand receivers. You understand receiver routes. You understand receiver concepts. You understand where that ball is going to come. So I think maybe that's why Farley may have an edge over everybody else. But let me ask y'all this. Maybe it may not make a difference. I know you want to draft him on the coverage ability, but do you think he shows up in the run game? Because I didn't see that.
He's not as physical as your Horns and your Surtains.
I like Horn and them better. I
mean, again, I kind of hate that neither one of us mentioned his name, but Asante Samuel's the guy who's going to show up in the run game. I mean, he's not going to – he really doesn't fit Dan Quinn's defense because he's small. He's 5'9" at most.
Right.
But, I mean, again, if you're looking for a guy to play in the slot who's physical, who can play the ball, who's great in coverage, I mean, Asante Samuel's a guy that probably not going to fit here, but he's a guy who you turn on the tape and you just get excited about. But like you said, Farley's not the physical guy that like J.C. Horn is, where he's just going to run dudes over, and even Ifeatu Melifonwu, like not the physicality that he brings either. But I think he's just, up until this year, I feel like a lot of people looked at, like, I'm not comparing him to Jalen Ramsey, but they're like, oh, he doesn't play the run, but he's an elite cover guy. And I think that's what the hope is for a guy like Farley, who can be good enough against the run, who can kind of develop into that role. But he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to mirror guys off the line. He's going to be able to turn and run with guys vertically, play the ball in the air. He's so fluid. He's so athletic that you don't have a lot of questions about his coverage skills and his ability to take the football away. But like you said, it just kind of goes back to, can you be physical in the run game, and can you stay healthy? It's pretty much the two biggest questions with him.
All right, but I got another question for you guys. If we got the 10th pick and they're staying right there, are y'all going to tell me Farley's a number 10 pick?
I listen, if it wasn't for, if we were still at 4, I'd take him. Like, straight
really?
up. For me, out of the last
couple, you think he's a 4? He's 4? He's that much of a difference maker?
He's not Well, I don't think he's gonna be a top 4 grade for me, but he's gonna be like 6 or 7.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm
Right.
saying that I would take him at 4 if I was in that situation. Like I'm going to have guys like Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell.
Right.
Like I'm going to have them over. But from a
Right.
need standpoint, that's where I would have Caleb Farley. The only corner that I have graded over him in the past couple of years was Lions. Oh my God, he was just Jeffrey Okudah, and we saw what
he got his ass torched this year.
Yes, they're different athletes, and I think that Okudah had that. I didn't think that he would have a transition going to the next level, but it's quite obvious that he did. And I think from an athletic standpoint, Farley's not going to have any issues.
One thing that me and Dalton talk a lot about on our podcast is, you know, a lot of people say you don't draft for need, you know, window dressing your board, something we talked about. But there is always going to be that going on in your draft room. It's just how separated are those players? Like if I'm picking at 10 and I have my 8th overall player is Rashawn Slater, an offensive tackle, which is a need, but not necessarily this huge, massive need. And then Caleb Farley is your 10th overall player. Taking your 10th overall player over your 8th overall player at a massive position of need isn't necessarily drafting for need. It's just putting value in a position that you're going to need more than a wide receiver or an offensive tackle or a tight end. So if they're sticking at 10 and Caleb Farley, like this is my thing. If we're sticking at 10, Caleb Farley's my 8th graded player and Jalen Waddle's my 7th graded player. Well, I'm not going to pick Jalen Waddle over Caleb Farley because he's 1 spot ahead of Caleb Farley. Even if it's 2 or 3 spots, there's a difference between drafting 2, 3, 4 spots ahead for a position of need and drafting 10, 15 like they did with Taco Charlton in 2017.
Okay, but let's compare these guys. Okay, we got Trevin Diggs on there. We got him in the 2nd round. So would you guys say that look at Patrick Surtain and Caleb Farley and compare them to Trevin Diggs right now? Where do you think they're on the level of Trevin Diggs right now?
I think they're both better.
Really?
They're different, but I think that they're both better. Listen, Trayvon Diggs is a fine cornerback, but for me, I see him as projecting to be a cornerback 2 for his entire career. Really? I know a lot of people really, really like his upside. He's just not fluid enough to really be that lockdown side of the football guy. He's a guy who, a little bit like Marcus Peters
right?
Make huge plays throughout his career, but he's also going to give up plays as well.
Right.
And he's not as quick footed or fast with his long speed. And I think getting a guy like Farley or Horn on the other side who have legitimate speed is the way to go over a guy even like Patrick Surtain, who technically proficient, maybe one of the cleanest guys that I've watched.
I'm scared of Surtain though.
I'm scared of the
I'm scared of Surtain. I think I'm scared of Surtain, Miller. I'm scared of him. I watched him and I'm like,
I'm not necessarily scared of Surtain. I'm scared.
I'm not doing no 10 at Surtain though. Y'all doing 10 at Surtain?
I wouldn't, but I'm saying I'm not scared of Surtain, the prospect. I'm scared of Trayvon Diggs and Patrick Surtain, 2 guys who lack long speed, who lack vertical coverage ability, and having one of those guys on each end, and then teams being able to just test the field vertically consistently. So again, if you had let's just say you had a Caleb Farley type guy in Trayvon Diggs' role, I wouldn't mind having a Patrick Surtain, that physical, not super athletic, but he can cover in that 10 to 15-yard range. He can play press. He can play zone. But, yeah, I don't want 2, let's just call it how it is, slower dudes on the boundary trying to cover guys going vertical and running 9 routes and go routes consistently.
Yeah, and real quick, just because somebody brought it up, with the rookie corners this year, L'Jarius Sneed was a safety.
Right.
Knowledge. That dude came out of absolutely nowhere. Nobody thought
that.
But yeah, I mean, somebody, in chat said something about the similarities between Henderson and Farley. I think that the difference between the two is that Farley is better going for the football and better in off coverage. And then Henderson, as bad as he was against the run, I think that they're really similar there. So I think Farley is a cleaner prospect overall than Henderson, but they have similar upsides.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like people are just really low on Farley right now because he didn't play in 2020.
Because he didn't play the whole year.
Right. Like if he would have played in 2020 and like played the same way he played in 2019, people would be like, oh yeah, let's draft him. We'll draft him at 4, like Dalton said, if we'd have been at 4 or 5. But they're just so and again, I understand to a certain extent, but you got to watch the tape and you just got to trust that. I mean, again, there's going to be a transition from college to pro, regardless if he played or not. So you're hoping he just spent his time and talking to some people that I know are watching him work out are saying that he's working out hard. You know, his body's in shape. He's staying in shape. He's doing great with his workouts. So that's all you can really go off of. And again, you're trusting the athleticism, the coverage skills, and just the intelligence that he plays with.
And I think that when they have the combine, which I'm pissed off they're not going to have it in Indianapolis, that's my routine thing. But I really think when Farley goes to that combine, he's going to turn up in them drills. Just watching him when he does those, just watching his hips and his fluidity, I think that's going to push him up. So even though he missed a whole year, I think he has a really combine, which I think he is because the athletic ability oozes. I think they're going to say, well, hey, you didn't play last year, but damn, you athletic as hell. And we can go back at your last tape and see. And I'm agree with both of y'all in the sense of if you got Trevin Diggs on one side, I don't want a Patrick Surtain as well. I don't want two guys that are like,
You better have some safeties.
You know what I'm saying? But here's my question to both of y'all. Dan Quinn runs that cover 3, runs the cover. He plays a lot of zone. Would that help them because they so zone heavy?
Yeah,
if you're talking about drafting a Surtain, you know what I'm saying? Because of the way Dan Quinn's defense.
Yeah, and I mean that's the type of defense that Alabama runs. Now, Alabama runs a little bit more complex pattern matching scheme than Dan Quinn has in the past. And I think that even Dan Quinn's defense is going to look a little bit different than it has in the past. I know Raheem Morris came to Atlanta and they ran a bunch of different looks. They ran out of 2 high and not just single high cover 3 stuff. But that is really where Patrick Surtain is at his best, is in zone coverage. I just worry about his ability to locate the football going vertically, because I think both J.C. Horn and Caleb Farley have better ball skills than him, and then the long speed on top of that. I just think when you're looking at a cover 3 corner, especially opposite of Trayvon Diggs, you need to go with a legitimate athlete.
I feel you.
You saw that in the national championship game when guys like Quincy Wilson in the red zone were able to, get him off the line of scrimmage. He's just not able to recover. He's long and he's physical, but if you get,
he's not twitchy though. He's not twitchy.
He can't mirror guys off the line as well. So you get down in those press situations where guys are able to beat him off the line. He's just kind of screwed at that point. So
especially if you're coming in NFL, you playing NFL receivers. You ain't playing these college boys. They're gonna give you the business. And if that quarterback see you can't handle it, they're going after your ass every single daggone time and just gonna keep on testing you until you can change up. So I feel y'all on that aspect. And I was listening to Dalton, and just with me with Surtain, he a boring ass corner. I ain't hating on you, Surtain, but you boring as hell, dog. Like, you don't excite me one bit. I don't want you. Maybe it's just me, dog. I don't want you. Stay away from me, Surtain. And I know your daddy. I watched your daddy. Your daddy was nice, but I'm scared of Surtain. I feel like just me. I could be totally wrong. I don't feel good about you. I feel like you might bust. You heard it from me. So if it happens, y'all come back and check on my show and say, give me my props. I'll give you my flowers on that. All right.
I love it.
Okay. Give me my flowers on that.
Do we want to address the question?
Go ahead. Yeah. BGJ ask, is that the cat from Stanford?
Yeah, that's the cat from Stanford.
I came out last year.
You might be able to get him at 144. Listen, he had a really, really, really good sophomore season. He had 24 passes broken up, between interceptions and PBUs. He was all over the football. He is another type of cover 3 corner guy. Paulson Adebo from Stanford. He's a little bit tight, and man, it's tough. He's tough to watch at times because he just technically is not where you need him to be right now. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Reggie Robinson coming out. A little bit different builds. Paulson Adebo is a little bit thicker. And I don't think he's quite as fast, but he has that type of athleticism if you can develop him to play on that opposite side of Trayvon Diggs. So he's a good complement. He's just not that top tier talent that we thought he might be at one point.
Yeah, go ahead, Connor.
He should have came out last year because I think he would have been a top 50.
That's what they were saying.
But
Well, hey,
everything Dalton covered it.
let me ask y'all this though, because this is a guy that I've been liking. I watched a little bit of him today. I watched some of them yesterday. JC Horn that y'all was talking about. I don't know about y'all, but JC Horn excites me. I know your daddy was an animal, okay? So that's why I'm gonna have to. Your daddy was an animal, okay? So I'm gonna have to lean towards you a little bit. And when I see him play, he reminds me of his daddy playing defensive back. I don't know about y'all, but he just real in your face. He's aggressive. He's got some good build. And what do y'all think about JC Horn? So what are y'all projection on a JC Horn as far as the rounds go? I like him.
As far as where he goes, is that what you're saying?
Where would y'all project JC Horn in the rounds?
I think, he's going to be a top 20 player for me.
Really?
And I think he'll get drafted in the top 20. I mean, might be getting a little crazy, but I mean, for some reason Farley and Surtain go, I mean, I would draft Horn over Surtain right now, but for some reason Farley went at 9 and you didn't want to go, receiver, you couldn't trade back, your tackles are gone. I'd be perfectly fine taking JC Horn at 10.
What about you, Dalton?
Yeah, I mean, every time I think about JC Horn is
Joe
oh
Horn.
My God, Joe Horn.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I saw Jason Horn on here. It got me tripped up. It got me tripped up.
It threw me off. I was looking right at what you said.
Every time I talk about JC Horn, the first thing I think about is this dude's an asshole. Like
he's an asshole. He's an asshole, dog. I like that.
And when you watch him play, like Joshua Parker talking about it here in the chat, like I did watch this dude punch a dude. Like just straight up after a play, punch a dude. After plays, when he gets in on a tackle and a running back's laying on the ground, he'll swipe at the ball. He'll put he'll mush you.
I like him.
He will mush you. And listen, he might get a penalty here and there after the play. But listen, he's going to get in your face and he is going to affect the way that you look at the football game. This is something that, even bigger wide receivers, he wants to punch you in the mouth. He wants to dictate the tempo and the attitude of the game. And I think that, T Smooth talking about it on here, that's what we need on this defense.
We need nasty.
We got nice guys on the defense.
Want to help you up and pat you on the butt and all that shit. Ain't nobody doing that, dog.
Tank's not a nice guy, but other than Tank and Antoine Woods, we got a bunch of nice guys on this defense. And a guy like Horn probably going to get flagged quite a bit as a rookie.
That's what I was going to say.
He is really handsy. He's really handsy.
He is handsy.
But if you can fix that, if you have a good DB coach, Al Harris, if he sticks around, I still have faith that Al Harris is going to be able to teach these guys in press man. I would be.
I'm all the way down with Jason.
With it. And I would love it if we can go captain trade down and move down to 14, 15, 8 somewhere and still get JC Horn. That would be the dream.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
I really wish the combine was going to be around for his numbers because I'm curious to see how he tests. Because I don't think he's like some exceptional athlete by any means, but he's so, like Dalton said, I mean, he's annoying in coverage, so he's not getting beat consistently. So he's athletic and fluid enough to stay in coverage throughout phases. He plays the ball really well. I mean, that's the one thing you notice is he is always playing the ball at catch point. And then he's just super physical. He runs through offensive linemen. He runs through wide receivers trying to block him. He's going to play the running game really well. So, I mean, again, he's definitely a dog. He's probably the meanest and nastiest corner that I've watched. And again, just like Dalton said, he's an asshole, and I'm interested to see how he tests because I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's some like exceptional athlete by any means, but I hope he's fluid enough and he tests well enough that you don't have any questions about him hanging with some of these guys in the next level.
I want an asshole on this team, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I want all asshole slap people. Now, I know we don't want to get personal fouls every play, but, dog, we need some nastiness like we've been talking about. I'm tired of this nice guy shit on our defense. I'm tired of the nice guy being all cool. I understand we got a dope offense. I understand we got all that. But, dog, we've been having offense for the last 20-something years and ain't did shit. We need to get some defense up in here and shut some people down. So I want nastiness. So if JC Horn, just like you were saying, Dalton, if you could figure out to do a trade and get a guy and still grab Horn, I'm feeling really good about that because we need somebody like him. And like you said, Connor. I hope he tests well because I don't want the test to deter people like, oh, damn, we ain't messing with him because he ran a 4.5 something. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that doesn't happen with him, but I like Horn. Now, I'm going to ask both of y'all before we switch to safeties, give me a sleeper from each one of y'all as the corner that we can get in a later round that you really like if they were to go that route.
Go ahead, Connor.
I don't know how late he's going to go, but I really like Washington's Elijah Molden.
Second round, probably.
Yeah, he's probably going to end up going in the second, but he's still not getting talked about a ton right now. So
he's not that big, though, right?
No, he's not small. He's 5'11".
5'11".
I think he is. Is he 5'11"?
I think he's 5'10", right? 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah, I think he might, be a guy who's relegated to the slot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Connor, I mean, if you talk about him a little bit.
Right. I mean, he's definitely a guy you prefer to have in the slot. He's not your Asante Samuel small where he's just so undersized that you're like, there's no way he can play anywhere but the slot. But I think his best spot will be in his nickel where he can run, chase, cover from the nickel. He's, like you said, a smaller build guy, but he plays so physical. He's a really good cover guy. He's physical against the run. He's another guy, we talked about Farley with his fluidity throughout route phases. I think that's something he does really well. He's just like, a lot of the Washington defensive backs that come out of Washington, just super, super game ready. They come in, even though Kevin King and all those guys didn't come in and just light the world on fire, your Buda Bakers, they come in with that mentality of, I'm a dog. And he's not your JC Horn as far as, being super physical, super aggressive. But he's a very physical guy for his size. I like the way he's able to cover from the slot. And I think he's a very physical run defender from the slot as well. So I could see a situation where maybe he goes, outside the top 100 and a guy gets a starting level, caliber slot nickel corner that's going to start in the league, I think, for a long time. So,
yeah, and I've been hearing a lot about him. I watched a little bit of tape, not crazy, but a lot of people were high on him. What about you, Dalton?
I'm going to give you two guys here. Okay. One doesn't really fit what the Cowboys want on the outside, but he's a guy who might be a free safety slot type guy. That's Corey Vincent Jr. from LSU. He might be the fastest player in the draft. He's got a little bit of attitude. That attitude doesn't always come out in the best way. Right. Sometimes he'll take a play off or two or not really want to get involved at times. Other times he's super physical. He's small. He's 5'10", 185, maybe 190 pounds, but super fast. Ton of upside there. And like I said, he could be a free safety and, slot cornerback type deal that you can get on day 3. Another guy, another big corner. If you want to look at a guy who can be a cover 3 corner, it's Keith Taylor from Washington. Another Washington player, 6'3", 200 pounds, got all the length in the world. The athleticism's kind of but you like a guy in a cover 3 like that can play in that deep and not get beat vertically because he is an intelligent player, and I think he can do that.
Okay, well, I'm going to make sure I keep my eyes on those guys. Now, do you guys this?
I was going to say, nobody will want to hear this, but you might be able to get Sean Wade late, too, and if you just play him at safety.
Not a corner.
If I can get him late, I'm cool.
You're probably going to have to play him at safety or relegate him only to the slot, which he showed good tape at last year, but this year was just a brutal year for him. So, I mean, again, if you're talking 5th, 6th round and you want to take a guy who had a really good year in 2019 and has the traits, it's an option. But, I mean, that was – if he would have came out last year, he probably would have been a top 50 pick along with Paulson Adebo. So.
And that's crazy. See, it's funny how y'all say he come out last year, he been this, but then he plays this year and he's that. So what player is he really? You feel what I'm saying? That's right. What I look at. What player is he really? Because last year he would have been overdrafted then, because I feel like we're seeing what he really is this year because he got exposed. So, yeah, get him in a later round.
He switched, he played slot primarily last year, and then he moved to a boundary guy this year, and he had an awful year on the boundary. I mean, it was horrible.
Hot burnt toast, all kind of blackness on that joker for real. He got blacked out for real. All right, so let's move away from the corners, okay, and let's jump on safeties. I talked a little bit about safeties last week. who are your guys at the safety? Now I know you liking Connor Trevin. I really heard what you said about the safeties, Dalton. Where are you guys talking about these safeties right now? There's Andre Cisco, there's Paris Ford out there. What do you think these guys in the mix with Trevin, Morwig, and kind of give me your thoughts on the safety class. Whoever.
I do not. I did not like what I saw from Ford or Grant, the UCF.
And what did you say about Grant?
I said I didn't like him.
You're wrong, but that's okay.
See, we'll wait for this. Y'all being all nice, agreeing with each other every goddamn thing. Yeah, I agree with him. Yeah, I agree. Y'all disagree shit.
It's not that I didn't like him, but I think he's like I don't know where you have him, but I wouldn't draft him in the top 75 or so.
I mean, but how many of these guys are you drafting in the top 75 or so? There's what, 2, 3 maybe? It's just not.
Let me ask y'all this though. Come on, y'all. Let's ask you this. Now we've been hearing about this safety class as being trash, right? So do they do this in the NFL because the safety class isn't great, that you overhype these safeties and move them up higher than they really should be? Like we're talking about this Trevor Warwick. We're talking about him, but in any other class, would he be like a 3rd or 4th?
I don't mind the safety class, actually.
So, all right. So the safety class doesn't have the high-end talent that you like to see. It's got a ton of names.
Right.
I mean, you're looking at guys like Javon Holland, who I'm not very keen on, but
from Oregon, right?
Oregon safety. He's a nickel corner, but that he's going to project to safety. Trevon Moehrig is safety 1 most likely. 6'2". He's got the athleticism. He's good in coverage. He's decent against the run as well. He's probably the guy that if you're a Cowboys fan and 44 rolls around, if he's there, you want to take him. I don't think for me there's another safety I would even look at 44 if I was the Dallas Cowboys, unless you are looking to maybe go strong safety and use Donovan Wilson as a free safety.
Hell no.
Listen, it's not his best fit, but if the Cowboys want to do that, I love Geraldine. Yep. Holy crap. This dude has the length of an octopus. This dude makes tackles from the other side of the field. I mean, just spider monkeying dudes, just jumping on them, their back. He's athletic as hell. He's not great in coverage, and you're going to have to deal with that if you want him as a strong safety. He's going to be good against tight ends. You don't want him up against shifty slot guys, and you don't want him doing anything complicated in coverage. If you have him in a hook,
I don't like him, Dalton. He sounds handicapped as shit. You're like, we don't want him to do this. We don't want that. I don't want that.
There's not. I mean, we have to pick and choose our battles here at this point.
I got you. But that ain't making me feel good because you don't. I mean, are we in agreement? I'm gonna ask y'all too. Is Donovan Wilson? We know we need to see more tape because we only saw a little bit, so we can't get overhyped about Donovan because we saw a 6th-round draft pick in Xavier Woods and he flamed out. So we still need to see more tape. But do y'all feel good at Donovan Wilson at strong safety?
I mean, I'm okay with it going into 2021 if I can draft.
But you still want to upgrade it, though, right?
Yeah, I would. Okay. Listen, I'm willing to upgrade at any position. Okay. I don't care what it is.
I feel you.
I really don't.
If I was running this team, what I would do is, and again, people freak out about this, but I would try to see if I can get a Malik Hooker type of player for super cheap. And
that's my guy, Tyrone Church. He loves some damn Malik Hooker. You hear him, Tyrone? That's your guy, Tyrone. They said it.
Then draft, like I said, another Trevon Moehrig or we talked about it on the podcast with Ifatu, but if he could play safety, he could be a safety.
Like I said when we were talking to him, if it comes down to it and we get our corner at 10, if we get Horn or Farley at 10, that dude is 6'3", 215. He moves like crazy, and he's physical as hell. I am 100% down with Ifatu playing free safety. 100%.
I'm a big fan of James Wiggins too, out of Cincinnati. Only got a few games of him from 2020, but when you go back and look at some of his older tape, which is
in my opinion, his 2019 tape is better than 2020 tape.
He was banged the hell up this year. I mean, he had a shoulder injury, a knee injury, and a toe injury or something this year. So he was playing. I mean, again, that Cincinnati defense is physical, it's fast, it's explosive. So he was playing. He's a tough dude. His 2020 tape's fine to me. It wasn't as popping as I wanted it to be, but I think when you look at his 2018 tape, because he missed 2019 with an injury, it's really fun. I mean, he's a guy that takes the football away. He's a playmaker on tape. And again, he was super banged up in 2020. He had multiple injuries that kind of limited his ability, but he could be a guy that could play free for you. He can cover in the slot. He could do a lot of different roles for you too on defense.
Yeah, and this isn't a terrible free agency class for. I know we're talking draft here, but there are a couple free agents in this draft or in free agency that might be cheap enough for us to get if we actually sign Dak Prescott and are able to free up a little bit of cap space. I know Mendoza, I don't want to butcher your first name, so I'm just going to call you by your last name. John Johnson III from LA, he's a good free safety. Marcus May is probably going to price this out, but that's
too much. That's too much.
You don't want to bet on Malik Hooker being your free safety, but if you can get him cheap and have him battle in camp for the starting spot,
your big steal.
If he's healthy, man. That's the type of free
safety that's the thing, fellas. My guy Tyrone Church been talking about Malik Hooker since damn near the earth started. You feel me?
Gotta be bone cheap, man.
I've been liking Malik Hooker, but I just stay quiet because dog, every single year you hurt, bro. Yeah, but damn, if you could just be healthy one damn year, you got that talent. If you could get him on the super dirt cheap, yeah, I would definitely look at that because you ain't hurting yourself by doing it. And you're saying if you are healthy, we got us a steal because you got the talent. It's just you can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Straight up.
And I mean, looking at like some of the other safeties that we have in this class, it's kind of cool because I feel like most of the years you have guys that are either pure free safeties or pure strong safeties. There's guys in this class like Caden Stearns who can do a little bit of both. He's more of a cover guy, he's more of your single high, too deep free safety, but he can come up and tackle too. We actually had him on our podcast the other day as well. Really enjoy our conversation with him. I mean, that dude is mature for his age. He's a lot of fun on tape. Similar situation with him as James Wiggins. He was banged up some in 2020. He opted out, early, so he didn't play the full year. But you look at his tape from 2019, 2018, and some of his 2020 tape is impressive as well. And you see a guy that you could really have success with on the back end. So he's another guy who I think could be a day 2, possibly day 3 guy who could come in and probably start some games for you.
So y'all don't I didn't hear nothing y'all say about some Andre Cisco from Syracuse. Y'all don't like him at all?
So there's a difference between being a ball magnet and a ball hawk. He is a ball magnet. The ball comes to him. He's not out there making a ton of plays. And, you get word that he's a really great athlete. I don't really see that on tape either. I think he's just okay. He's a guy that if he's around on day 3, round 4, then I'm looking at him. But before that, I wouldn't personally touch him. You have other guys. Ardarius Washington, the second cornerback at TCU.
He's little, bro, ain't he? He's little.
Little guy, but as a free safety, I don't really care about that. Can you cover sideline to sideline? Can you get there? Do you have the range? That's what I want to see from a free safety because he's not going to be asked to get down in the run game very often, and he can hold his own against the run as well. A name to kind of keep an eye on that we're not talking about at all, but this team might really like with Dan Quinn coming in is Jacoby Stevens from LSU. He is a safety linebacker hybrid type player, 230 pounds, 5-star player, good straight line athlete. He hits like hell, but he's a guy who you can bring in as kind of your third linebacker who can also cover tight ends a little bit.
Another guy that can do some of those things, not quite as good as coverage is Stevens from LSU, but is is my guy Tyree Gillespie from Missouri. He's a big hitter, more of a guy who's going to play with the ball in front of him. You don't want him going backwards a whole lot, but he can come. I mean, that the first few snaps of the Alabama game, you would think that he'd be drafted in the top 15. I mean, he comes up and just absolutely annihilates Jalen Waddle. Comes up and makes a really nice tackle against Najee Harris. For a minimal gain. He makes a nice transition where he flips his hips and makes a play on the ball against Jaden Waddle, but Waddle catches it. I mean, again, it's within like 5 minutes. You're like, who the hell is this guy? And again, he's a kind of a boomer bust guy. Like he's still developing. He's going to be a guy that you don't want to spend. He's a 5th, 6th round guy that you're Xavier Woods, Donovan Wilson. He's a guy you draft in that role and hope that he can turn into a starter, kind of like how Donovan Wilson did after a year or so of developing. And he's, like I said, a big hitter, a guy that can play well with the football in front of him. You don't want him turning around, flipping hips and covering much. But if you can have him playing with the football in front of him coming up and playing the run, hitting guys, coming across the middle, he can do that.
What about I'm gonna mention one last guy to y'all. Some people had told me about this kid, Richie Grant from Central Florida.
Yeah, he's a guy that I like. Connor said that he didn't like him very much off the tape, but I liked him. I think that he's a guy who can cover in the slot a little bit, and he is more of your free safety type. Not a guy that I would probably take in the top 75 to 100.
Well, we're on the same close.
But yeah, round 3 pick, maybe a little bit later than that. With that comp pick in round 3, that's where I'm really looking at a guy like Richie Grant.
I've seen people talking about him in the top 50, and I'm like, what? But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the 4th round or something, then totally.
Yeah, I'm not there with him. And another guy that a lot of people like is Richard LeCount from
Georgia.
He's just not a good athlete. He's a great.
Yeah, but he's not.
Player. He's just not a great athlete at all.
Yeah, we need somebody athletic back there. All right, so we're about to close this up, y'all. So if we're talking about, I'm gonna ask y'all with the corners and the safeties. We're heading into the draft. Okay, who is your guy if you had the choice if you could grab a corner and a safety in this 2021 draft? Who are your 2 guys being where you walk away and say, I feel good about these 2 guys that we grabbed out of here, and I think they can make a difference down the line?
I mean, a Caleb Farley, Trayvon Morig, 1st and 2nd round is just your secondary.
Yeah, we feeling great if we got that right.
Yeah, I can get much better than that.
Do you think that Trevor can come in and start immediately though?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think he come in? Okay.
Yeah, that's your best safety from.
Yeah, that TCU defense is incredibly complex. He has a lot on his plate there.
Later there,
get him in a cover 3 scheme where all he has to do is cover left and right and deep, and I think that he'll flourish. I really do. For me, I'd be outstanding. That would be outstanding. I'm going to go a little bit different here. That would be my ideal to get Farley and Trevon. But another one here, another pairing would be J.C. Horn and Ifeatu Melifonwu as a free safety. That's would be my 2B or my 1B for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. I like Farley, but man, I really like J.C. Horn. I don't know why. I just really like him because he's an asshole. Yeah, I like assholes. I like the jerks. I like the ones that I'm not helping you up. I push you down. I need that in our life. I need that with the Cowboys. So if Farley goes, my guy I'm looking at is J.C. Horn, and I would be ecstatic if we got him because I feel like he would bring an attitude, and I feel like adding him. And I want to ask y'all one thing before y'all get off of here. You got Reggie Robinson, right? They moved him to safety, saying we see this, we see that. Now you got Dan Quinn back in the group and Joe Witt. Do you think they say, you know what, and do the Chris Richard thing and say, all right, dog, you was at safety. Dude, get your ass back here at corner and let's make it work? Or do you think they're going to kind of keep him at safety? Where do you think this Reggie Robinson thing goes?
It could depend on what happens in free agency in the draft, because if they don't, if they don't have any safeties right now, their only safeties are Donovan Wilson and Reggie Robinson. So, I mean, it could be a situation where if it's like, hey, we have numbers at safety now, well, let's see it could be a numbers situation. If we only have, guys who can play corner, well, then you'll play safety. If we load up on safeties and go play corner, I wonder if it'll be let's wait and see what happens thing. But mean, I think that kid can play. I think he was raw coming in. I think he's an athlete. He's physical. He's long. I wish they would have got him on the field in 2020 to just see what he had.
Right, that was a disservice to us. Because I want to ask y'all right quick. I mean, if you're playing a zone, I mean, how complicated does it have to be for you can't get your guy on the field if you're playing a zone type coverage? I mean, like, damn, like, is he that? I'm not trying to disrespect him, but is it that unintelligent where you can't figure this out?
So in the beginning of the year, they were running. It's zone, but it's zone man. It's all match stuff, and it's incredibly complicated.
Okay.
What Mike Nolan was trying to do. So I understand in the beginning of the year. For me, I think that he's the perfect developmental cover 3 corner. He's long. He's pretty physical. He's really fast, and that's the type of guy that you want on the outside in a cover 3, especially opposite of Trayvon Diggs. And so I would like to see him at corner, but if he can play free safety in a cover 3, I'm cool with that as well. I don't know if he's fluid enough for me to like him going both ways. And that's why I kind of like him being on one side of the football. He can work deep and inside instead of having to go left and right.
The thing that I'm interested to see, because they kind of took shots at him throughout the year and was like, oh, he's from a small school of Tulsa. So, he's got to adapt to it. So, like, I'm interested to see if that – I know people have said that they're interested in Zaven Collins, but, I mean, if they wouldn't get Reggie Robinson on the field because he's from a small school at Tulsa, it's hard to imagine them having put so much interest in Zaven Collins.
Exactly. Yeah. But like I said, this is what I tell all Cowboys fans, not saying I'm right. Stop thinking like yourself and start thinking like them damn Joneses, because you only going to hurt your own feelings and your own thoughts. Like, ooh, I like Justin Simmons. Well, so what? Why you like him? The Joneses don't. So why are we even talking about him? You feel me? Let's not talk about players we know damn well the Joneses are not going to sign or we're not going to draft. You just only hurting your own self or hyping yourself up. I automatically look at $8 million players. I automatically look at $7 million to $6 million players. I never look at a $10 million a year player, especially in free agency, because I know we ain't gonna touch him. That's just me. That's just all I gotta say about that. But hey, man, I appreciate y'all both jumping on here right quick. You know what I'm saying? Give them a quick spiel on both of you guys. Because, like I said, y'all happy with that draft. Dalton, I know you've been popping your YouTube channel. I checked it out the last couple of days, really doing your thing. You already know, Connor, how you do. But let everybody know so they can go ahead and support you guys and keep on, you know what I'm saying, giving that good support and pump you guys up.
Well, you can subscribe to our podcast if you're looking for Cowboys and draft content. Me and Dalton do a Talking the Draft podcast. Just go on whatever podcast platform you listen to. And unfortunately, you can't get it straight from the podcast. You have to subscribe to the Blogging the Boys podcast feed, and then it comes up in there. So just do that. Just search Blogging the Boys. You can search Talking the Draft or Talking the Start, and it'll pop up. But it's going to pop up as SB Nation's Blogging the Boys. And I mean, we're interviewing a lot of dudes right now. We've had Patrick Jones, Victor DiMakeji, Caden Stearns.
So many interviews.
We got Aleem McNeil coming up tomorrow. We got some dudes coming up on the show.
Man, y'all over there doing work. You feel me? Well, you know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and subscribe to that shit. You better say, what's up, big game? Just say it one time. Just say it quick. You ain't gotta say, you ain't gotta give me all kind. Just say, what's up, big game? Just say it quick. That's all I want.
We'll get them to shout you out yourself.
Talk to me, Dalton.
All right, so you can find me on Twitter at Dalton B. Miller. You can find my draft work at the Pro Football Network. You can obviously find me on the podcast with Connor. And then you can find me on YouTube. I'm doing shows every single day now. Probably go live 2 days a week and do, produced videos the other 3 days right now. I don't have a nice, clean YouTube URL because I ain't got 1,000 yet. So we trying to get
you see over here. He trying to get monetized, y'all. You see what he's saying?
It's so hard to find people on YouTube before they have 1,000 subs. So listen, the easiest way to do it is to just go to my Twitter and then find me there. So go to Dalton B. Miller. I have it in the link, the website link right there. You can click on it. It's in my pinned tweet. It'll be there.
And I seen it. He ain't lying.
watch the video, and be ready every day. Right about 8 o'clock is when I do my stuff.
I gotta get on YouTube.
Yeah. Hey, Connor, you need to stop playing. You know everybody going down YouTube trying to get that cheddar, dog. You better stop playing with that and leaving that Twitter all the time alone, man. They get on that YouTube, get money.
Y'all trying to ruin my life.
Nah, I ain't trying to ruin your life. We trying to get money, some more money in them pockets, dog. You got something to say, big dog. You feel me?
If the great Jeffrey Kavanaugh has taught me anything,
he eating on YouTube.
It's build your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about nothing else. Build your brand.
Yep. Build your brand and make it pop, because guess what? As long as you feel like you saying something, somebody going to listen to you, and that's just the way it is. And just go hard on your brand. That's what it is. And y'all already doing y'all things out there. So I just want to tell you, I really appreciate y'all jumping on here, talking corners, talking safeties, opening the door for some other players for me to look back so I can replay, because I know a lot of the top guys, but I really like looking at the middle guys. I like looking at the lower guys, because those are guys I never talk about, and a lot of those times those guys surprise. So, I really appreciate for y'all delving in. Please go check out their podcast. Continue to support both of these guys and what they do. I really appreciate you guys coming on here like what we did. And we'll be talking to you soon. I'm going to stay on here a little bit, talk to the folks. But, man, I really thank you guys for coming on here at a short notice like you did, and talking about draft like y'all do.
Anytime.
Again, thanks for having me.
I'll make sure not to ghost you next time.
Yeah, I got you, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm being that inbox. Feel me? Do it again.
The Wi-Fi is up and running, baby.
Yeah. He had that AOL, that dial-up shit. You know what I'm saying? Better get off that shit, dog. It's 2021, man. Upgrade.
I'm gonna need the YouTube channel to help me afford good internet.
You feel me? Hey, man, salutes to both of you guys, and I really appreciate you guys working. Keep putting that work in for Dallas Cowboys, because we all love you, man. Thank you, guys. Salutes.
See you, man.
All right. I appreciate my guys right here looking out, you know what I'm saying, jumping in here, looking out like they did. Make sure you check out Run This Back, so you can check out some of these mid-level guys that they were talking about. Just my kind of thoughts on this. When we're talking about the cornerbacks, I do like Farley. I can keep it real and say I really do like Farley. He's not as physical as I would like, especially like in the run game. He is injury prone. He had a torn ACL. He had a messed up back, but he did play through it, and then he sat out 1 year. So he really only had 1 year of really cornerback, but so did Trevin Diggs. So the upside is there. So I do like the Farley. I just wish he'd be a little more physical, but he has the size and traits. I'm not feeling good about Surtain. Appreciate you, Mendoza. I don't feel good about Surtain. I'm gonna just keep it real. I don't feel good about him at all. I don't really want him. And I think if Dallas were to draft him that high at 10, I'd be kind of upset, because I just think he's not the guy. I could be totally wrong. I do like J.C. Horn. I heard a lot of you guys in there saying he is grabby. But you know what? I'm a carrot. We need some attitude up in that secondary, dog. We need some attitude. And J.C. Horn has all that attitude. He's all about that life. And like I said, his daddy was the same way. I want attitude. And just like Connor said, I hope he tests well, because I don't know if he's the fastest cornerback out there, because he is grabby. But he's I like how he's just a jerk, man. And I want my cornerbacks to be that type of way. But yeah, but like you said, Thurston, I would definitely take Farley. Farley is the real deal. He is the real deal. I watched him today for probably about 3 hours, and man, he is naturally fluid. He's fluid as hell. Like, it's so natural with him, how he can turn and move and go, and he has the size too. He's a top prospect. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Dallas Cowboys draft this year, where they're going to go at 10, if they're going to stay at 10, if they're going to trade out, if they're going to trade down. It's going to be interesting. But we'll kind of see how this class goes on the cornerbacks and the safeties. I'm going to bring a couple more people in here, talk draft, and we're going to talk linebackers, D tackles, offensive linemen, all that good stuff, because I got some offensive people out here today. Not here today, but I got some other people that are with those positions, that deal with those positions, so they can give kind of us a better, go-to what we need to do. But I definitely appreciate everybody jumping in here like they did. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for all my members in here. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to my new member, Akeem. You're going to get your emoji here in a second. KMT, to you. Let me see. Steve Lumpton, Thurston, Draft Time, Jim Laws, Mendoza, Boothang, Chris Perez. You know my dog KMT. I love you, man. Who else we got up in here? T Smooth TV. Ivan Contras, David Jenkins. What's up with you, big dog? Steve Lumpton, my dog. Just giving y'all shout outs before I head up out of here. And make sure you check out the hype. Joshua Parker, what's up with you, baby? Jim Laws, what's up with you, dog? Make sure you stay good. Jay Lavelle, Joshua Parker. Did I say your name already? You know what I'm saying? Don't want to say repeat it. But I really, really appreciate all you guys. I really appreciate you guys. Hey, it's a good thing. We didn't have all the haters on here today, man. It's funny, Boothang came to the job today, and you know, we were talking about this today. It's funny, you know, we were talking about, you know, what happened yesterday. And I'm not trying to give credence to it, but yeah, we were talking like, oh, let's be prepared for today. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to have Goon Squad on it today. You know what I'm saying? It might go down again. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I want to tell you I appreciate it. Might not be nothing big to you guys, but I just want to tell you, man. Yesterday, and I don't even want to make light of it because I don't want to give nobody like shine in this. But I just want to tell my peoples, my Goon Squad peoples, when that stuff was going down, my Goon Squad members was like, hell no. Okay, we see this happening, but that ain't gonna be happening here. We're gonna override that. That just really made me feel good. You know what I'm saying? I just want to give y'all a shout out. Like, that really touched my heart. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get emotional and shit, but I just want to tell y'all that touched my heart, that we seen all that hate that was happening right then, but my peoples said, hell no, we're not gonna let that go down. We're gonna override that, and we're gonna make this shit bang. That meant a lot to me, y'all. So I just wanted to give y'all 100% super shout outs for that, because you didn't have to do it. You get what I'm saying? Like, people take things for granted in this world. You don't have to do anything. You could have sat there and said, oh, okay, well, we'll give a hell. But y'all didn't. Y'all was like, nah, we ain't letting that happen. We're going to do this because that's our dog. We're going to do this, and we're not going to let that hate ride. That meant a lot to me. So I just want to give y'all a special shout out to everybody who supports this page, the feed, my members, my subs, Goon Squad, everybody. Just want to tell you, from me, it meant a lot to me personally. Took it to heart that I saw all this love for me, because I don't never take that stuff lightly. You could never take anything for granted in this life. So I just want to tell my peoples, I appreciate y'all more than anything, man. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And y'all are amazing. And that's why we call Goon Squad. That's why we level up over here. And that's why it's family here. Because if I was on the outside looking in and one of y'all was doing it and I was like that, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be repping it just like y'all did. So I just want to tell you, I really appreciate the love. I can't say it enough. It meant a lot to me and Boothang, how the support came like that during that period of quick time. So I always want to give the shout outs and the appreciation and make sure I always let y'all know how important and how much y'all mean to me in this game of media and Dallas Cowboys life. So shout outs to y'all, man. Love y'all for life. We family over here. Just like Mel says, we family over here is deep in. Even though the craziest thing is, we may not even seen each other, but when you build that bond that we have right here, we built it. It's like you almost ain't got to see that person. It's almost like that's my dog over there. I ain't never met this mother sucker, but that's my dog. And so I just want to tell y'all, man, I appreciate that 100, man. So that being said, great show. Replay this back. Connor and Dalton, go check out their podcast. They really got good stuff over there, and I really appreciate them. When I hit them up, it was really in a day, and I was like, let's do this. Connor hit me up and was like, hey, man, let's run this back, man. My shit's good. I hit Dalton up literally today and was like, hey, you trying to jump on with me and Connor? He's like, let's do it. So I really appreciate those guys, how they jump in like that, at the short notice and, jump in here with me and support and take the time out to talk. So shout outs to Dalton and shout outs to Connor as well. And, hey, let's keep this thing banging out. And you know what it is tomorrow. Tomorrow's the late night hype. Tyler Patman, former cornerback with the Dallas Cowboys. He really played in 2014 where he got some work. I think we may have a strength and conditioning coach on as well. I think Boss Cowboys might be on. It's going to be a big sheding tomorrow with the late night hype. Tyler Patton, Boss Cowboys. Boss brought him on. He's been talking to him and his trainer. So, we just going to continue to grind. I know he's not like the huge name, but he still played for the Cowboys. He played cornerback, you know what I'm saying? So we can always learn some things. And we got some more guests coming up and lined up that I know you're going to like. I'm working on one in particular. He was offensive lineman back in the 90s, and he was a dog. And I'm working on him right now. I get him, y'all. I get this guy. Yeah. Y'all going to be like, okay, big game. You really serious with it. You feel me? You really serious with it if you get this guy. So, hey, always on the grind, 24/7. When people sleeping, I'm grinding. That's all it is. So, hey, make sure y'all support that hype tomorrow. Make sure y'all deep in Silver and Blue Nation. Make sure y'all deep in Law Nation. Make sure y'all deep in Cowboys Network. My dog Skywalker Steel. Hey, let's have a good time and talk some more Cowboys football, and let's do this damn thing. Members, I got a video getting ready to come for y'all. Get ready to watch it. I can't say the name, but I got a video getting ready to come out for my members. We're going to keep pushing them things out, and we're going to just keep on making this thing grow, and we're going to keep on grinding like no other. So, I don't know. I just want to tell y'all I love y'all, man. Salutes, man. Y'all great. I can't say it enough, man. This is awesome when I can just talk on here, be myself, talk Cowboys football, and I got all my peoples in here so we can just kick it, man. Never ever gonna not appreciate y'all. So I always want to give y'all shout outs, man. So shout outs to you. I'll be talking to you soon. Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation. You know how we do. Late night hype tomorrow, man. Let's go get it. Peace.